There are some photographers that will tell you that they plan every photographic mission with the same precision that the SAS plan a hostage extraction in Syria. And usually, I'm one of those. However, there's always the element of chance. There's always that little bit of fate where things go wrong, or where things go perfectly right in the face of adversity. Today, the weather forecast is atrocious. It's absolutely terrible. It's just blanket cloud, 100% coverage. All of the satellite images look terrible. All of the weather forecast and the rain sounds terrible. That said, I've got a few hours spare, and it's New Year's Day, and being bored, it's better to be outdoors than indoors. So we've jumped in the car and we've headed off to Spurn Point, just at the other side of Hull. And hopefully we're still going to come away with a couple of amazing shots. So let's stay motivated, let's get focused, and let's do this. The first photographic mission of 2017. There are lots of things in life that you can't rely on. However, it being freezing at Spurn Point in January is one of the things you can rely on. Off-road pramming. Nick loves this. It's the sort of thing she lives for. This sand is pretty hard going after the festive eating period. I think a fair few pounds have been gained. There's a storm building on the horizon over there, and that's possibly going to give us a chance to get a few images looking out to sea. We need to find some foreground. There's some broken wood, part of the old sea defence in the sea just ahead of me. I'm going to try and use that with a couple of shots to get a very simple composition with the building storm in the background. It's really quite windy. To be honest, I'm struggling here. I left it really late to get here again, and the tide is on its way in, as you can see, and I've got these barriers, this old sea defence in the distance, and I've decided to shoot a long exposure. Going to be around 6 to 8 minutes. I've dropped the tripod right down to try and keep it as steady as I can. You'll notice that I've not put a bag or anything on there, and that's because quite often it acts as a sail and gets blown around quite a lot. I'm hoping you can hear me okay. This is probably about the best opportunity I've got. There is a little bit of light over the brow of Spurn, and the other risk is that with the tide coming in, I may end up with wet feet because the tripod's really on the edge, but I kind of needed it here to get the composition. There we go. The worry is now is that with those freak waves moving the sand, we're probably going to end up getting some movement on the tripod, and that's a short ruin. Well, let's see what happens. You know, I love to be organised, I love to
have days planned and set away, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to get out most times. Working for myself, I spend a lot of time out with the camera. I'm able to juggle my schedules around. A lot of people can't do that, so this is very much a real world episode today. It's the same for a lot of people who get a couple of hours to get out with the camera and try and get something that they like. You can't always get it your own way. The weather won't always play ball, you won't always have time, you might have family with you. You can still get good shots. It's cold, but it's fantastic. There's something about poor weather and bad weather that just really kind of gels with me. I love it. Let's see where we are. Really trying not to knock that tripod. The reality is that I didn't get to find time to go down to the lighthouse, which was my original intention. We turned up a little bit late, and the Spurn Safari, although it's running, wasn't around. So we've got to work with what we've got here, and that is definitely the challenge. I have a feeling that we're going to have washed away too much of the sand and moved this tripod, so we're going to have to try and get closer up and try and get another shot and find a different composition where we're a little bit further back. It's a challenge. There's still quite a few photographers around, which is interesting. Right guys, I've grabbed the tripod and I'm quickly walking up the beach to try and find a different composition, one where I can get the camera away from the incoming tide. I'm going to shoot this really shallow depth of field because the light's gone, light's dropped, and I've actually got the super stopper on me. Not having a lot of time. I've spotted an exposure that I think is going to work okay. Compositionally it's not bad. Again, this is going to be around 8 minutes. I'm shooting at f3.2 here. I'm still shooting these sea defences. I've focused in on the foreground actually, where there's 3 spikes of wood sticking out, and then in the distance there's another breaker going into the water. Now this is not ideal at all. The light just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping, and it's really exposed, as you can see. The tide's coming in quick, and even though I've pulled the tripod back quite a way, which I'll show you now, it's still actually risking moving just with the movement of the sand and the wind. I've got a hat on there again just to stop any light leaks with the super stopper. I actually really love this kind of pressured photography where you've got an hour or so, half an hour, to try and get something from it. I'm risking the hat, but I'm going to have a little walk slightly further just to see if there's a slightly better composition. The reality is that when you don't have a lot of time and you keep trying to find a better shot, sometimes that doesn't pay off. Sometimes it's better to shoot what you have in front of you if you're happy with it. You know, you can get this kind of thirst to go seeking a better composition, a better image, and that doesn't always pay off. If you've got all day and you've had a chance to recce it, then by all means do so. But sometimes getting a shot in the bag can be helpful. It's motivating. shot, this shot with the super stopper. I'm gonna try and get a shot here. That storm is still building out at sea. I can see me getting caught in it. However, we're gonna try and grab that down a bit to keep it nice and dark. Lots of highlights in the incoming tide. And try and get an image out there, probably at 24mm. We might put the wide angle on. Or should I say, a little bit wider, the 17. God, I love this, I really love this. For a miserable Yorkshireman, it's one of the few things that makes me less miserable. Getting blown around. I've been shooting the waves hitting these breakers here, and I've got some good images. I'm gonna have a little wander further down and see if there's just a few more shots to be had. It's definitely very cold now. Let's try and find another composition. With this drifting sand, I've got sand everywhere. It's going to take me a little while to clean the GoPro and also the camera and the bag and my clothes and myself. Still working this little composition here, and I'm now going to try and... I've been experimenting with different shutter speeds. I'm going to come around here 1 second. So what I've done is I've taken some shots at slower shutter speeds, getting the motion of the waves coming in, letting the tide recede out as it's going away from these breakers. And then I've shot some at a shallower depth of field with a faster shutter speed, boosted the ISO a touch, just to catch a bit more detail in the spray as it's hitting these rocks. Right guys, that is me, ready to go. It's starting to rain, so much wind and sand, it's game over. It's time to get back to the car. See you shortly. Well, I'm back in the car and absolutely red raw, the sand driving into your face.